listen, these are great days because as God shakes everything, people are going to realize, oh man, I need a foundation that won't be shaken. Come on, lift your hands if you're with me. Come on, you guys with me tonight. And anybody out there, if you feel like your world is shaking, if you feel like your foundation is shaking, you could be on a foundation that will not be shaken. You can stand in a foundation that will not be shaken.
I have the biggest house of any preacher in America. Oh, I paid cash for the home.
God knows how to repay you.
I started giving on that level so that God would owe me.
I totally know. I don't worry about that.
This country's turning right. No, I think that the media is turning right. And I think that many of the people who get into office have gotten in there by wearing a pseudo middle of the road kind of a costume and then lean toward the right when they find out that the right is paying the freight once they get into office. Let our minds drift back to the early days right before Reagan made his big run. There was a deal made between the fundamentalist right and the Republican Party, literally purchasing the platform. If you stick the prayer in school on here, if you stick the abortion on here, money, the land of milk and honey will flow in your direction.
Is that any different than politics of the Democratic Party, in which, all kinds of different interest groups had certain things they wanted to platform?
It is very different. It is very different. Because it is so focused, and it is so wealthy, and it is so protected. There's so much money involved, and I think that it has been the ruination of the GOP. GOP now has, as they say,
The grand old party.
That's right. Enterprisers on one side and moralizers on the other. I'm with the enterprisers. Let's get down to business.
You're for Jack Kemp then, on one hand, when he talks about entrepreneurial activity and all that.
The line is nice, but I'm not for Jack Kemp. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is that if you're going to be a Republican, you ought to focus on what Republicans are supposed to be good at, which is let's do business. Okay? And I think business is good for the whole world. People like to do business. But when you start trying to legislate morality, you've got a problem. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked in the past. It won't work in the future.
Yeah, but if anything goes, there's got to be some sense of responsibility, don't you think?
There's a difference between responsibility and adherence to dogma. When the dogma becomes legislation, that's when you have the danger. I have this horrible fear that the United States could wend its way toward being a fascist theocracy. The cross converted into a symbol of fascism in the service of politics. This is bad.
You think that's why Pat Roberts is doing well out there? There's some sense
I think that he's doing well because
identification with the cross?
It is the identification with the cross, the fact that he claims to be speaking on behalf of a supernatural being who has certified his campaign.
But see, the interesting thing when you say that
social media sucks our blood for data brokers. The planet burns because of corporate interests, etc., etc. Talking about problems feels like an act of redundancy. Painful, maddening redundancy. Because these problems keep leading right back to the same place, over and over. Once you've followed these roads enough times, that destination becomes grotesquely familiar. It's like you've been there before. You've arrived at the same conclusion before. It's a bizarre feeling. You stand there certain you've been following a new road, a road you've never seen before, and yet there you are. The same pit of mud you were last time, and the same one you realize you will be in next time.